Hello and welcome to JD Stone Gaming. This is Anna and I will be walking you through the homeless challenge on Sims 4 for PS4. So the basic gist of this is you have to collect 5,000 simoleons. You cannot have a house, and you basically have to live off the land. To go a little bit deeper, you have to take all your money away through modifications. And this is her on her empty lot. This is all you're allowed to own, is the empty lot. And then you have to basically sleep on benches at the park or whatever. You'll see later that I kind of sort of took to squatting in someone else's house. Here I am putting in the mods. I enabled cheats and took away all her money. That's all I'm doing right here. So in order to, there are many challenges, but I think I'm just going to stick to the basic collecting the money. Because I want to see how far, or how long it'll take to do that. And I don't want to bore people, so I'm going with the easiest route right now. And this is my first Sims 4 challenge. Normally I just play the game as you would just play the game. So there aren't a whole lot of rules. Like I said, you just can't own a house. You have to remove all your money. And she's supposed to look homeless, so bear with me. Sims 4 didn't really allow for that. They took a lot of those kinds of things away. Here, I'm just playing chess. And the guy that just walked up. There's another mini challenge that has to do with friends. Because I guess that in previous Sims games, you had the ability to make friends. And if they got to level 7 friendship, they could loan you money. And this was part of the challenge, is that you could get loans from friends. I'm not exactly sure how they expect you to pay the loans back, seeing as you can't get a job. But, I mean, that was something that was available to you, I guess, in previous stuff. Or maybe even in the computer game. Like I said before, this is for PlayStation 4. And having a lot of the PlayStation, or the PC expansions versus the PlayStation 4, there are a lot of differences. Like, you can't bring new characters in from the sim community, or, you know, you can't bring houses in. You have to basically survive off of the basic game and the expansions, which, to be fair, takes Sims down to the bare bones, because there's a lot more to Sims than just this. Here she's trying to make a friend. They're playing chess. I mean, they seem to be getting along pretty well. I mean, I feel like this is pretty boring, and I'm sorry that I didn't cut more of it out, guys, through editing. Because I totally could have. Oh, her story. I almost forgot about her story. So the other challenge to this is there's supposed to be a story for the sim. Her story is she's a struggling artist. She left home. She is a young adult. And she's just trying to make a name for herself. She doesn't really have any instruments at the moment, but there will be a guitar that randomly pops up in a second. I gotta fix that. When I go back there and edit my voice. She's just making a friend. You guys know how to make friends. You talk. You get to know him. He's just the first random guy that walked up, and she's talking to him. You know, talking about art, talking about jokes. I mean, at this point, all of her needs are where they need to be.
Befete Shamagra. Grinoi Foibi. Gana Shuna. Tharb. Befete Pelka.
She's still talking to the guy. That's all that's going on. I'm not exactly sure. Someone who would kindly fill me in on how to correctly audio these, I would greatly appreciate it. Because when there's a lot of dead time like that, I just don't know what to do. You know? So if someone would kindly tell me, you know, hey, talk about this, you know. Do you really want her to have a big story? Because I can expand on that. You know, she's a struggling artist. She comes from Simatopia, where she had a mother and, I guess, some siblings. You know? And the idea is, with the challenge, is that you expand on that story. That homeless story that you gave her. You know, I gave her the story of a struggling artist. So I guess that by the time she has 5,000 simoleons, apparently she's now made it her name in the world. I mean, I don't know what world the Sims live in, but in my world, $5,000 doesn't buy hardly anything. But apparently 5,000 simoleons is supposed to be able to buy her a house and all this jazz. I don't buy it. I guess though, to be fair, there are many challenges, and those many challenges do expand on it. You know, she can't get a formal job, you know, like a cook or a cop or, you know, a tech guru. Anyone that's familiar with The Sims knows that there's a whole world of careers out there, and up until Get to Work, we had no idea what The Sims did at work. We just know that they disappeared off screen and then they reappeared on screen after, you know, working. But Get to Work kind of revolutionized it to where you can go to work with them if they're a doctor or a scientist or there's another one and I forget what it is. But there's 3 jobs where I think it is a police officer or a detective or some sort. But it's the first time you actually got to go to work with them. There's also a Sims, I can't remember if it's Sims 2 or Sims 3, where when they had a baby, they would take you to the outside of the hospital, and they would disappear when they walked into the hospital, and then when they walked back out, they had a baby in their arms. I can't remember which one that was. Feel free to tell me. I'm thinking it was Sims 2 that did this. There was also, and I feel like they lost a lot of stuff when they did Sims 4. You have better graphics and characters, but you lost a lot of what they offered in previous games. Like, in the one with the hospital, they also had libraries. They had restaurants you could go to. All sorts of things that you could do that you lost in Sims 4. And I feel like they didn't really make up with it. The same thing with the clothes. She's supposed to be dressed like a homeless person, but I couldn't really find any homeless clothes. I feel like in previous Sims, there was dingy clothes that you could put on them. Like, some that were actually dirty. I mean, that's the best I could come up with. And I don't know if it's a difference between PC and PS4, or if it's a difference between Sims 2 and Sims 4. Because, I mean, like I said, you lost a lot of stuff as you evolutionized through the Sims. Which I feel like people aren't really talking about. They talk about the awesome graphics of the Sims and how the game looks more realistic. But I feel like I'm kind of upset by the fact that you really actually lose more than you gain in the evolution of the game. I just hope for their sake that if they come out with a Sims 5, that they bring some of that stuff from the past back. Because I kind of miss having more places to go. And if there are some of those places in like City Living or something, I apologize because I don't have those expansions. So if they do have those things, I will become aware of them as I get the expansions. Oh, here's her guitar. Just for the record, she is homeless, and she's not buying this because she is on public property. The game is putting it in the park, so it's park equipment, not sim equipment. Although somehow it ends up in her inventory, and I'm not exactly sure how that happens. Because as you can see, it had put in inventory, not selectable. See? And it's telling me there that I can't put it in my inventory. Because I was trying to move it away from the pond. She's fishing because... Well, I was going to cook the fish, and it won't let you cook the fish. So instead, I sell the fish so that I can then make hot dogs. The poor girl is starving, and she's so tired. I mean, can you imagine sleeping on a park bench? That can't be comfortable. And those things look like they're metal. It's okay, we go squat in the goth house here in a little bit. My husband informed me that I probably shouldn't stay there for too long because it's not really a homeless challenge if you're staying in someone's house. But isn't it? If I'm squatting and I didn't spend any money, they didn't invite me in, I just knock on the door, isn't it still obeying the challenge, technically? They never told me that I had to survive in the park. They just said I couldn't have any money to start, and I couldn't have a house to start. So if I live in the goth house, I didn't ask anyone to move in, I just stayed there. Really what I did is I took a bath, and I slept. You know, ate cereal out of the fridge. It was free. Made friends with Mortimer. Everyone who knows anything about the Sims community knows that Mortimer is always in the Sims. From Sims 1 all the way through Sims 4, the Goth family has been present. And they've pretty well stayed looking the same. Their house has pretty well stayed the same. I feel like there might have been a graveyard in one of them, though, like in the backyard. I can't remember, maybe, anyone who's familiar with the Sims game that was on the GameCube, I believe that's the one that had the cemetery in the backyard. I believe the grandpa might have been one of the graves in the back. But I also feel like the Goth family is the only one who made it throughout all the Sims. And I find it really endearing and sweet that they've kept something very familiar to Sims people throughout all of it. Here she's playing music, trying to earn some money, and I learn about my very poor placing of the guitar because she's basically playing music for the fish. I hope they like her music. And that is Cassandra. I believe that's Mortimer's wife. I always get that one and the other girl in the house confused. And I can't ever remember the other one's name. I believe that, yeah, this is where I decide that I'm going to travel. And I go to the Goth house. No, I do layer it back down. Again, anyone who's got any suggestions on how to commentary this better, I really had a brilliant idea, and I was going to create a story and have, basically be a narrator to the whole thing, But 30 minutes of narration, that's a little difficult. To put a voice on her to just narrate. I think I'll fall asleep on this bench. That'd be a little difficult to constantly have a thought in that Sim's head. When, let's be fair, these Sims, they very rarely have logical thoughts. In fact, very rarely do they always do what you want them to do. They have free will, and sometimes they decide to take that free will upon themselves and just not do what you tell them to do. Kind of very annoying. She really needed to use the potty and to eat. And she's actually kind of getting... she's getting kind of really stinky too. Which you kind of expect because, you know, she's not allowed to have a bathroom. And her basic needs, or the needs of the moodlets over there at the bottom, are supposed to be met through not having a house. And as many of you know, that I thought this would be a really easy, simple challenge, you know, and I was hoping that it'd be 30 minutes tops that this challenge would last. And as you can see, I am nowhere near 5,000 simoleons. I have only got, like, I think that says 13. Forgive me, my eyes aren't what they used to be. I really, really, really wanted to get her moodlets up, though. Because we can't really make friends. She won't really, you know, play the music. I was looking to see who was there, to see if it was even worth playing music, to see if anyone would give me any money. Speaking of money, I know I keep talking about past versions of this, but I feel like there was places you could go to buy, like, clothes, and you could go to places and buy books, and you could go places and actually play music for money. They give you money here, but you don't have the option to choose to play for money. I feel like there used to be one where you could take a guitar out in public and you'd put like a hat on the ground and people would put money in the hat. Or you could go to the corner and shake your little cup, trying to get people to give you money. Like, I feel like that really takes away from the experience of homeless. I mean, because how many of us have been somewhere and seen that homeless person on the corner shaking their little cup asking for money? You know, I feel like it really takes away from the experience of a homeless challenge. I mean, they have to do homeless stuff, you know, like dig through the trash, knock on random people's doors, use a random person's tub. I mean, I don't know very many homeless people that do that, because I'm pretty sure we'd be calling the cops. Or exercising our Second Amendment to be able to, you know, carry a gun. But still, I feel like we really, really lost some stuff. And like I said, I can't remember which one's which. She's hollering about being stinky. This is really getting stinky. I kind of wish I could have given her a backpack, because I feel like it would have really put the icing on the cake of homeless, you know, because then she has a backpack. And this part's kind of funny. This guy, I don't know if you saw or not, but he had his own little green stream of disgusting following him, and he was trying to say I stunk. And, can anyone tell us, or can anyone else say, crazy, he's talking to those plants? I mean, because you can plainly see there's nobody there, and if he's talking to me, he's wasting his time because I'm playing music. I can only imagine that he probably has an insane trait. That box at the bottom is just saying that I'm doing something for an aspiration. And forgive my constant moving like that. I always forget what buttons I'm supposed to push to make it do certain stuff. So, when it's on something, like, for example, the moodlet in the bottom corner. If you touch that, and then you move the direction pad, it'll go to the next thing. So I forget that I have to back out so I can use the joystick to move. So if you see things like that pop up and it's telling you different things like that, it's because I always forget that I have to back out. I'm trying to get her hygiene up. I can't remember what, how much it raises it there. But I figured if I brush her teeth and wash her hands over and over and over, it would, eventually get my hygiene at least up enough to where I didn't have a green smoke cloud following me. And I moved her inside because I figured that at least these are cushioned, right? They had to be more comfortable than that bench. I didn't even know they were there, to be honest. And let's be fair. If I could sleep on that jungle gym out there, I think it'd be pretty cool to sleep on a jungle gym. But The Sims and their kid-only activities, doesn't it annoy you when you want to play with something on The Sims and you have to have a kid to do it? It frustrates me so much. Because it's not like The Sims has created the ability to break things because you're so fat. I mean, they want to be realistic. That would be realistic. Oh, we're dirty again because we just dug through the trash. I mean, she's supposed to be homeless, right? She has this thing where if she has enough money in her bank, she will make the most expensive thing on the list. Like, for real? She couldn't make a hot dog. Hot dogs are $13. I don't have any idea how much those veggie burgers are. If you're watching the amount of money, you can tell. But the veggie burgers is one of the most expensive things on there. I was trying to see how far I could go. If anyone else has ever really played this game very much, you know that you can go down the road a little bit and you can see stuff that's around. And that's what I was doing, because I was hoping that there was a house close by, so I didn't have to actually go to a loading screen. Lucky for you, the magic of editing. So you don't even see the load screen. See? I knock on the door. As soon as I knock on the door, it opens the house up for me. Going back to the previous sim comments from before, didn't they used to actually answer the door? I feel like a sim actually used to answer the door. Now, you knock on the door and it opens the entire house up to you. Like, you can do anything in there. I also feel like there used to be a thing where if a sim that lives in a house, or if a sim lived in a house and you didn't belong in that house, I feel like that the owners of the house would shoo you away because they knew that you didn't belong in the house. I mean, I just feel like some of the things with The Sims 4 doesn't make sense with society today. Because we all know that society is not a safe place. But on The Sims 4, it's perfectly content. I mean, I guess that's fair though, because they did take the burglars out. So, I mean, Why not? And they took the cars out. Not that that matters. Does anyone else find that strange that you can see cars driving on the road, but you yourself cannot own a car on The Sims 4? Is that not weird to anybody else? It is to me. I just find it highly unusual. Photo credit, or video credit to Yami. She actually blew a car up for her 100 baby challenge on the PC, so that it looked like she had a car in her yard. I wasn't about to do all that, and I don't know how you do it on the PlayStation 4 anyway. She explained how to do it using a PC, because you press buttons or something, and it enlarges the toys, or I think she said that you can enlarge anything. Anyway, she took this little black car and blew it up so that it looks like a regular car. The funny part about that, her video though, is that she kept trying to use toys as decoration, and she had a toy box in her house, so her kids would go and pick up these giant toys that she had enlarged and put them in the toy box. So you're sitting here thinking, how in the world did that kid just do that? As you can see, I haven't spent a single penny since being in the goth house. So, by rules, I'm still following the rules. Which is something that I tried really hard to do, because there's 2 other challenges that I tried to do before this one, and I just didn't read the rules close enough. So, I'm having to restart those challenges. Which is, for those that follow JD Stone Gaming social media page, that's why you kept getting Sims 4, Sims 4 videos are coming, and they never came. Because I did it wrong, and I didn't want to put it up here, and I get told, hey, you did that wrong. Because then I'd have to go back and start over anyway. So, or I'd have to put a giant fail on the screen. So, we're still learning how to do all that. So I'd rather not put a giant fail on the screen. Anyway, here we're just talking to Mortimer. Again, can I just say that I find it really endearing that Mortimer and, the girl in the red and Cassandra, I think it's Cassandra and Mortimer that are married. They've always kind of looked the same throughout the years. Not only do they have the same name and the same house, but they look kind of the same. Like, I feel like someone should do, I don't have all of them, so I can't do it. But I feel like they should do a, from Sims 1 to Sims 4, evolution of the Goth family. Because, like I said, it's the only family that someone could do that with. And I would love to do it, but I don't have the games to do it with. So any of you gaming guys out there that like Sims games, feel free to do that. And leave a link in the description, because I would love to check yours out. Because I would love to see the Goth family, the evolution of the Goth family. There's someone who does that. I can't remember who they are, but there's someone who does that. They do the, basically the Sims to the ages. I mean, she was hungry, guys. I know, it's not right, but, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not allowed to, and they didn't make any food. And as the rule goes, I'm not allowed to, use stuff like the stove oven and whatnot. I don't think. Because I was squatting, I don't actually know if I'm allowed to use kitchen appliances. So, to play it safe, I ate the food that was in my inventory that was bad. Here we're playing with the kid. We're getting ready to go back to our home lot, and we're getting ready to wrap it up, guys. Before it ends, this is JD Stone Gaming. Have a great night, and play like your life depends on it. We love you. Comment, subscribe, and turn on our post notifications.